Have you been to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania? Have you seen a ghost?
Now you have.
Most haunted places are small. A house, a room, a building. Gettysburg is a bit different. Here, the entire landscape feels alive with echoes. People talk about phantom soldiers marching through the fog, the sounds of cannon fire rolling across the empty fields, voices carried on the wind. But when you're here, it's not just the ghost stories that feel heavy. It's the land itself. The battlefield hasn't been paved over or erased. It's been preserved, held in place so that when you walk here, you don't just visit the past, you stand in it. And that makes Gettysburg feel like a place where time itself is layered. My name is Lauren Hellickson, or Lauren Haunts, and you can think of me as your spooky science friend. I investigate the paranormal through experimentation, a very deep love of physics, and a range of critical data. And I don't think ghosts are the answer to a question that maybe we haven't finished forming yet. Today, we're looking at Gettysburg. We're not just looking at Gettysburg as a battlefield, but as a living example of how preservation changes the way that we experience time. Most places in America that have experienced tragedy, well, they've been rebuilt. We've covered them with roads, offices, houses, but Gettysburg is different. Here, the fields are kept exactly as they were. The stone walls are still standing, and the farmland still stretches the same way it did in 1863. This place is a stage that has been deliberately frozen, and that decision means the past and present collide in a way that feels like layers of time. July 1863, 3 days, over 50,000 casualties. Gettysburg became one of the bloodiest battles of the Civil War and one of its turning points. The battle was unimaginable in scale, but what happened after is just as haunting. The dead had to be buried quickly, sometimes shallowly, sometimes not at all. Families searched for loved ones. Sometimes they found only fragments. Townspeople lived in the aftermath of devastation for months. In most places, tragedy like this eventually is buried twice. Once by time and again by construction, building, progression. But not here. Gettysburg was preserved, and that choice means the battlefield doesn't feel gone. It feels present. And that presence sets the stage for maybe why people still say they hear cannon fire, why they see soldiers, or feel the weight of history pressing down around them.
Do you want to help support the channel? Maybe gear up for your next weird adventure? LaurenHans.com has my exclusive merch and hand-built ghost hunting equipment. Things you definitely won't find anywhere else. Whether you want a shirt that boldly declares the things that you're into, or tech that you're absolutely not seeing out in the field right now, LaurenHans.com helps me help you. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Let's talk about time for a second. We often think of it as this straight line, past, present, and future. But another way that we should be imagining it is as if they're layers stacked on top of each other. In physics, space-time isn't separate. They're not these separate pieces. It's one continuous fabric. Every event leaves its mark. The past doesn't just disappear. It becomes maybe a little more harder to access. Think of it as sheets of transparent film stacked on top of each other. If you hold them together tight enough, it only maybe looks like you're holding one. You can only see that top layer. But if the layers separate or move just a little bit, you can glimpse what's underneath. You can see that there's more. Gettysburg is one of those places where the layers don't feel sealed. The preservation keeps the past very visible, almost as if it's standing shoulder to shoulder with the present. And it makes it much easier to imagine or even to perceive those events that came before us. This is why the hauntings at Gettysburg feel so powerful. People describe phantom soldiers walking through the mist, the thunder of musket fire, voices calling out across the fields. Are these experiences paranormal, or are they the result of standing in a place where the past has been deliberately preserved, where the mind is free to wander between the layers? When nothing has been built over, when the roads and fields remain as they were, you don't feel anchored in 2025. You feel suspended, halfway between now and 1863. I think that's why these experiences feel so convincing. Because in Gettysburg, the past doesn't feel like a memory. It feels like the present. Maybe most haunted sites aren't really haunted, they're primed. When you preserve an environment, you remove the reminders that time has passed. And when your brain doesn't have those modern anchors, it interprets what it senses through the older anchors. There have been studies that the human brain can't actually distinguish between our dream state and our waking state, which is why sometimes your dreams seem so deeply real to you. Think about walking through an abandoned building. If you see the walls peeling and things deteriorating, you know that you are in a place of the past, but that time has passed. Now imagine that same building preserved in the time frame in which it was active. Gettysburg is like that on a massive scale. By keeping the battlefields authentic, it isn't just preserved history, it's preserved perception. It's an environment that encourages people to feel the past brushing up against them. I think that's why so many paranormal reports out of Gettysburg aren't of modern hauntings. They've been replays, marching soldiers, cannon fire, the echoes of 1863 stacked right on top of today.
Here's the thing. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, Gettysburg proves something important. Time doesn't always feel erased. In some places, it just lingers. And maybe that's why people describe this battlefield as heavy, as charged, or alive with echoes. Because in a very real way, it is. The preservation has kept the past from slipping out of reach. So when you stand here at dusk, looking across the fields where thousands once stood, maybe you are standing in multiple times at once. Maybe you are feeling the weight of layers pressing down together. That doesn't mean the dead walk these fields, but it does mean the past does. And sometimes that's haunting enough.
Gettysburg feels haunted because it's one of the rare places where preservation has kept the past alive, layered with the present. Whether you see a phantom soldier or just feel a strange heaviness in the air, that sensation connects you to something bigger than yourself. It reminds us that time doesn't move in a straight line, not when we keep choosing to hold its weight. So maybe Gettysburg isn't just a battlefield. It's a reminder that time can be the ghost.